With the rising cost of fuel, now is as good a time to ever to start keeping a logbook for your work usage in relation to your vehicle. As many people may or may not know, there are two methods to claim deductions in relation to your work-related travel in your vehicle on your tax return. There is what's called the cents per kilometre method and the logbook method. Under the cents per kilometre method, you are able to claim a set rate based on the number of kilometres you travel during the year for work. This is, however, maxed out at a total of 5,000 kilometres, which works out, based on the current rate of 88 cents per kilometre, to a maximum deduction of $4,400 in a year. Now, contrast this to the logbook method. The logbook method is based on the percentage you use your vehicle for work as opposed to personal, and it is a percentage of all costs related to your vehicle. Now, that could be fuel, it could be servicing, it could be depreciation, it could be interest on a loan you have for the vehicle, it could be lease payments. It is a percentage of all costs related to your vehicle. Now, let's have a bit of a look at an example of the difference between the two and why you should really consider keeping a logbook as opposed to using the cents per kilometre method. Now, let's assume, just for the purpose of this example, that you do an average of 400 kilometres of travel in your car in a week, and which works out to 20,000 kilometres per year. Now, let's assume that your vehicle has an average fuel consumption of 10 litres per 100 kilometres. Now, some may have more, some may have less, but for this example, we use 10 litres per kilometre, which means you're going to use 2,000 litres of fuel in the year for your 20,000 kilometres of travel. And let's take even a conservative price for fuel. We'll take $2 a litre. Now, obviously, as we've all seen in the media, and as we can see with our own eyes, fuel prices are currently a lot higher than that, particularly if you have a diesel car, but we're going to be conservative in our estimates here. Now, let's assume that rego for the year has cost you $850. You've got insurance, let's say that's $2,000. Let's say servicing for your car is $500. And here's the kicker, depreciation. If your vehicle is less than 8 years old, you can claim depreciation of your vehicle. So for the purpose of this example, we're going to claim depreciation of $6,000, which indicates a vehicle that's worth about $50,000. So that brings our total to just over $13,000 that we've spent on our vehicle during the year. Now, that's our total expenditure, so we can't claim that whole amount unless you do use your vehicle 100% for work, which is very, very rare. So we're going to assume that we use the vehicle for 50% work-related travel. So that means of that $13,300, we can claim 50% as a tax deduction, which is just under $7,000. Now, what you'll notice is that $7,000 is a lot more than the maximum amount we can claim under the cents per kilometre method, which is currently capped out at $4,400. So there's potentially a couple of $1,000s you are missing out on in tax deductions if you don't keep a logbook. Now, we hear many people, the reason they don't keep a logbook is they're too busy, they don't have time, they're too lazy. But when you start to see the financial impact, it is worthwhile. So what do you need to do to keep a logbook? Well, for a logbook, you need to keep it for 12 weeks. And in that 12-week period, you take the odometer reading at the start of the 12-week period, record all of your work trips and how many kilometres they were, take the odometer reading at the end, and we can work out your work-related percentage or usage of your vehicle. This logbook, assuming that you don't change the use of your vehicle in a significant way, is valid for 5 years. So it's not that much effort to keep it for 12 weeks, and it's then valid for your next 5 tax returns. There are apps available that can track your usage for you. One that we use a little bit is called Driver's Note, or you can keep a manual logbook. You can put it in an Excel spreadsheet, any way you can to keep that logbook for 12 weeks. So showing the difference between the cents per kilometre method and the logbook method shows you how much more of a deduction you may be entitled to by keeping your logbook. If you have any questions on this or for any of your other tax matters, please feel free to reach out and make a booking with the links in the description below.